Hi, I'm Val Cole, and this is the reading for Not to Talk About Until Now by Kirsten Marie Wohlgemuth. Chapter 4. Bedstamore, Emma and Bedstafar, Auge, Kiss' maternal grandparents, lived on a farm not far from town. Snug and secure were the nights when she was allowed to burrow down between them in the big feather bed. Sleeping among them was reserved for stormy nights after a bad dream or if she felt unwell. They wore identical long white nightshirts and caps. She giggled at the way they dressed for bed. Kiss began making excuses, trying to be with them more often. Wise Bedsty said, "If you feel too lonely down in the hall chamber, we'll make up the Chesterfield, here in the day room, right next door to us." Kiss clapped her hands and said, "Goody, I won't be scared of the earwigs then. They wait for you to fall asleep, and then they march right into your ears and play the drum." She continued about how often they crawled all over the whole wall and how she stayed awake, afraid they would crawl into her ears. Bjarne warned her of them once when she saw the crawlies in a woodpile at his house. "Why do you think they're named that way?" Bjarne asked. "The creepy crawly earwigs play eardrums. You know nothing, stupid." On the sofa, Kiss drifted into sweet dreams to the rhythm of the great-grandfather clock and the comforting snoring coming from the room close by. During the day, she followed behind one or the other. After the midday meal came quiet time. Bedstafar read his paper. The postman, on his bicycle, delivered early morning. Kiss wangled her way onto his knee and sat snug in his arms and drifted off for a little nap. "Ooh, that's prickly, stop that," she protested, but giggled when Bedstafar gave her a whisker rub to wake her up. A typical day in haying season started with the usual early morning oatmeal porridge. "Hurry, you little sleepyheads, get on this wagon before we pull out without you," said Bedstafar. He, the hired hand, and aunties Lily and Asta had been up for hours, milking and feeding the livestock. They were now on the wagon that was hitched to the horses, Mussy and Bruno. Betsy boosted Kiss and her 3 girl cousins onto the wagon. The horses strained. Restless, they jerked at the reins, making the ride bumpy. While in the field, the girls raked hay until tired. They found mice, frogs, and a myriad of insects, catching and studying them before release. Proud, statuesque storks pranced around, paused on one leg, and scrutinized the people in the field. All was well. Everyone belonged. Bruno and Mussy moved steadily, rhythmically, slowed by the long, hot, sunny day and their heavy burden. The cousins dozed in a delicious slumber on the way home, not fully asleep, but with eyes closed. Kiss listened to the hypnotic clip-clop of hooves. She recognized their location by the different sounds made by the horses. Ringing hooves meant pavement, the highway. Soft thudding moves, dirt road. Crunching, grinding hooves, gravel drive. And distinct, sharp clatters meant they were on the cobblestones in the farmyard. Chapter 5. What's going on in the barn today? She decided to investigate and leave Bedsty to manage by herself. Kiss felt bored watching the pressing of the tablecloths as they rolled through the huge, squeaking mangle. Bedstafar welcomed her as his second shadow most any time. He even started training Kiss for some chores, one of which was herding the milk cows home to the barn from the pasture. Bedstafar would say, "You must pay attention to the closure of the pathways on your way down to the pasture. Take hold of this wood piece like this and walk with it over to this post on the other side. Slide the wire hoop over this post. See how the barbed wire is right across the path? You close the next one. Never ever forget. These dumb cows might take the wrong turn." She memorized his words. This time, as she entered the barn, instead of the usual, "Hey girl, what are you up to now?" she heard, "Hey girl, best you leave this barn right now. There's no place for a little girl today. Go on back with Bedsty. Go on." Bedstafar sounded annoyed. She pretended to leave the barn, but placed herself to watch without being noticed. The goings-on in the barn all started with the arrival of a truck delivering a pig. At a distance, Kiss observed the loud, grunting pig being led into a pen with one of the sows. When he started attacking the sow by jumping up on her, she forgot all about how she was not supposed to be there. Frightened, she yelled out, "Stop him, please, stop him! He's going to kill the sow! Make him stop!" "I thought I told you to get! Now get at once!" Bedstafar yelled back at her. She ran, sought comfort and Bedsty's sympathy. "Don't you worry, the boar will soon be gone. Bedstafar hired him to service the sow, and she will have little piglets." "Why didn't he just get the vet to come with a tube of piglets to squirt into the sow like he does to the cows with a tube of calves? I get to watch, and it's yucky when the vet sticks his whole arm into the cows. It comes out with poop all over it. I don't want to be a vet when I grow up, Bedsty. I like the way chickens have babies. Is the boar a man pig? Will he be the dad of the baby piggies when they're born?" "Yes, you might say that. I know babies come from their mummy's tummy. Was I squirted into my mum's tummy with a tube? No. Where's my daddy then? I don't have one, and other kids do." "Ask your mom. Now let's collect eggs. I like touching warm eggs." When grandkids were past napping age, they had to play outside. They made tents out of old blankets, chased and caught kittens, dressed them up in doll clothes, and walked them around in a doll pram. On a miserable weather day, the four cousins sat at the kitchen table and looked at books and colored. Once in a while, when they were well behaved, they had one of their favorite treats. "Okay, girls, off to the hen house and pick out your fresh egg. I need the whites for meringue. Today you may make stirred egg yolk," Bedsty announced. Jumping with joy, the girls ran to be the first. Kiss loved sticking her hand under the warm hen. She felt for the biggest egg and hoped it had a double yolk to take back to the kitchen. Bedsty separated the yolk from the white. The girls became busy, quiet, and content. They stirred the yolk until their fingers ached, in competition with each other to whip up the whitest and fluffiest mixture. When the tablespoon or two of sugar was dissolved, the girls savored the concoction. Sometimes, for variety, they added a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Christmas cookie baking included Bedstamore, aunties, cousins, and Kiss. It took 2 to 3 days from dawn until late afternoon. The little girls popped cookie dough into their mouths on the sly. They learned not to complain of sick tummies afterward, for it didn't deserve sympathy. They planned when they grew up, and they had their own homes, and they were going to make and eat as much raw bread and cookie dough and cake batter as they desired. The Christmas of 1953 would forever stay etched into Kiss's memory, the one she wanted to recreate for others, with a setting to promote the same warm feelings she was fortunate enough to have experienced. Bedstafar, Kiss, and her cousins had been busy all afternoon tying sheaves of grain, an offering to the birds. They set out saucers of cream for the cats in the barn. Most important, it was their duty to take the old chipped brown and beige striped crockery casserole dish, filled with rice porridge, up into the attic for Santa's elves. The dish was licked clean. Boy, oh boy, how hungry those little elves are. They must work hard, Kiss thought. Besides working hard in the toy factory, they helped Santa the whole month of December by placing nightly treats in a shoe placed in the window, one shoe for each child. Bedstamore's cooking was always delicious, but at Christmas it was exceptional. Her dinner table had been decked out in all the best linen and china, while the aroma of the festive traditional foods permeated the air. There was roast goose, crisp and brown, stuffed with sweet apples and prunes, served with hot, sweet, and sour red cabbage, rich brown gravy, and white boiled potatoes. For dessert, there was fluffy lemon mousse with whipped cream. The food the children looked forward to most of all was the one served first, traditional rice porridge, which was served hot, sprinkled with cinnamon and sugar, and a lump of cold, hard butter in the middle. Who would find the hidden peeled almond in the rice porridge? All eyes searched the faces around the table, watchful for any sign of almond discovery. Bedstafar pretended to have puffy cheeks, and Bedsty coughed as if choking on the almond. The winner revealed it after everyone cleaned up their bowl and then received a special gift, a chocolate Santa, or perhaps a marzipan pig with a red bow around its neck. After Christmas Eve dinner, the children waited patiently for the adults to clear away the food and to do the dishes. With eyes wide open and butterflies fluttering in full tummies, Kiss held tight onto her younger cousin's hands. They giggled in suspense as they waited for the double doors to open to the special occasion parlor. It was time. They heard movement behind the double doors, and then Beds de Far opened them wide. There, in all its splendor and glory, towered the fresh-cut, magnificent conifer right in the center of the room. It glowed with real candles, pure white. Underneath the tree branches was a bucket of sand and one of water, just in case of a fire. Most noticeable of all were the pretty wrapped packages. Around the room were overstuffed, comfy chairs upholstered in red crushed velvet. In between, on small tables, were crystal dishes filled with a variety of Christmas treats: apples, oranges, nuts, dates, figs, homemade cookies, and marzipan confections. While the candles on the tree lit up the room, everyone joined hands and circled the Christmas tree. They sang all the loved hymns and carols. Afterwards, the candles were blown out and the gifts were handed out. In the middle of all this, jolly old Santa showed up, bringing another gift for the children who had been good throughout the year. Kiss received a picture book. No words, just pictures. There were 2 characters in the book, a mother and a girl child performing activities together around the home, washing, ironing, cooking, and cleaning. She loved the mother in her picture book. She had a sweet smile, and in some of the pictures hugged and kissed her daughter. Then there was the glimmering Cinderella figurine music box. Her dress was blue with silver sparkles that came off onto her hands. Kiss unwrapped a doll with a porcelain face, hands, and feet. But the body was of cloth stuffed with something pokey. The doll came with a bamboo rail crib. It had embroidered lace bedding in pink floral. Kiss hugged and kissed the new doll and named her Dolly Lees. The doll received many more hugs and kisses until the day Kiss was forced to abandon her. The Cinderella music box figurine did not have a happy ending as in the real fairy tale. Beds de Far brought Kiss home in his little gray Morris car after a weekend visit to the farm. The apartment was an awful mess. Maybe the window had been left open and a vicious wind blew through it, placing contents in different places than they used to be in. "Clean up the mess. Cinderella is not mendable," said Ava. Kiss squeezed the tears to go backwards. She feared her mother's wrath was sure to come her way as it always did when she cried. Her hands were covered in sparkles that once adorned Cinderella's dress. Careful not to break the pieces further, Kiss placed her broken Cinderella in the trash can. "Dolly Lees will be sad tonight when I share the sad, bad news with her, and I don't know how it happened."